Okay, so in the springtime, I'm going to take this time. The ice is getting ready to go out. I'm preparing the boat. This is the time that I'm going to come into my hunting areas because I don't want to disturb them in the middle. A lot of people go out right before they're getting ready to hunt, you know. Sometimes, you know, a month, a couple weeks beforehand, they go in with the brush hog. They're clearing, you know, clearing their shooting paths and stuff. And to me, you're just disturbing that area. You know, you're bringing your set into there. You're making all kinds of noise and adjustments. I think it throws the deer off. So I like to do all of my adjustments that I'm going to be making now and let it sit all summer long so the deer get comfortable and used to it and feel like it's a safe place. So I'm going to, this is the path coming out to my spot. And I understand that I'm going to have to come out here again right before hunting season and clear these brush, little sticks and things. But that's just one little thing that I'm going to do. Is I'm going to take this path. I'm going to keep the sticks and stuff off from it. So when it's time for hunting season and I'm walking out in the morning and I don't even know where I'm going, it's hard enough even just to find my tree stand in the morning, that I'm not stuck. So this is a hunting area that I have. This is one of my stands. You can see that it's fairly clear. So I'm going to come into this area, and if I got a tree down or anything like that, I had a tree down in another spot, and instead of coming in the middle of the winter and fighting with the snow and standing in snow that's up to my knees and trying to pull a tree that's frozen into the ground, you know what I mean? I'm not going to put in that kind of effort at this point. You know what I mean? I'm going to wait till this time of year. I'm going to come into a spot where I can get to the tree that needs to be cut up, but I'm going to get it done right away. Make all this noise and do everything that needs to be done now. And so if I have limbs, a tree down, anything like that, anything that needs to be done, this is the time that I'm going to do it. I'm just going to move it off to the sides. A lot of times I'll use some of that stuff as cover. I remember a couple of years ago, I would remove everything. And now I have a really barren area. You know, I tend to want to move everything off to the side. It's just a little bit more cover. It gives the deer a little bit more comfort, knowing that there's something that they can hide behind, or there's something that they can get between them and a predator. And as you can see, we have already had something. Something's been in here. I don't know if it's turkey or if it's deer, what it is. Something's been nosing around, you know, and they're probably looking for grubs. They're probably coming in here, this area, there's some grubs. And you can also see that there's like a draw. There's a pathway right here. Where the deer, and what ends up happening is that they'll come marching right down through this draw and come into this area, is what normally ends up happening. And as you can see, I got, so they'll come into this area, and right here is where I got my stand. And we'll get right up there. Well, here we are up in the stand, and as you can see, we're up here pretty good. We got a pretty decent view. Right now, there isn't a lot of growth, so it looks pretty wide open. But when these trees grow in and we get leaves going on it, it's pretty full. There isn't a ton of areas to shoot, and believe it or not, we're pretty protected up here. Although I will say that this is my most exposed stand. But again, being a bow hunter, I gotta have some good shooting lanes. Last thing I want to mention that's a Christian term that you may have heard is people talking about the blood. Oh, we'd like to pray for Bob tonight, and I pray the blood of Jesus to cover him. Now you might be thinking, oh my gosh, you're going to cover me in blood? Are we going to be breaking snakes out here shortly, or what's the deal here? I mean, that sounds very odd to me. Scary. Well, see, the blood is a very important, Jesus' blood is an important factor. That's where everything basically is based on his blood, the blood that was shed. God said in the beginning that where there's sin, there has to be bloodshed to cover it. And there's healing in Jesus' blood, and there's salvation, and there's protection. Okay? So when somebody says they're praying the blood upon you, the visual that I have is like oil. If I was to take some olive oil and dump it over my head, it's going to ooze. It's pretty much going to ooze. And it's going to go, and it's going to spread. It's going to go everywhere, and it's eventually going to cover me right from head to toe. Right? It's a little bit different than water. Like if I was to pour water over me, it would be very quick, and the top of my head basically would get wet. I mean, there's a story in the Bible when Jesus went over to someone's house for dinner, and there was a woman there, and she had some expensive oil, and she dumped it on his head, and everybody got very upset, saying that what a waste. We could have sold that and given the money to the poor for food, but Jesus said, don't be angry with her. Can't you see that she's anointing my body? And I can just picture the oil covering him. The oil covering him. So that's what people are doing when they mention the blood, okay? Don't be scared. Don't be scared of the blood. They're not talking literal. What they want to do is they want to cover you. Okay, maybe you're having issues in your life. They want to cover you with the blood to cover up your sin. Because we're all sinners. Maybe it's protection. Maybe you're going out and you're going to be going into a dangerous area. You're going to be doing dangerous things. Maybe you're having a hard time at work. It's a very testing situation, and you need protection. They want to cover you in the blood. You see, in the unseen world, that's what the enemy is going to see. That's what demons and evil spirits, whatever, they're going to see. If there's anything they're going to see, it's the blood. And they can't touch the blood. So it's protection. So don't ever be scared about that, okay? Grasp it. People they're only trying to help you. But I understand that it's a scary term. You ever heard a Christian use the term the world? Things of this world. I'm not interested in things of this world. Or the world says that I have to do this and that. And you may be thinking, the world, what are you, don't we live on planet Earth in this world? I don't know what world you live in, but I live on planet Earth. Well, what they're referring to when they use the term the world is the love of what? See, Christians have their eyes on heaven. We look at heaven as our home, and that's where we're headed, that this is just temporary. We're told that our lifetime is like a blink of an eye. Okay, so our time here is going to go quick, but the life after death is for eternity. So I'm going to be spending eternity in heaven. So my eyes tend to be on there. I try to put my eyes there. I mean, yes, I'm dealing with situations here and doing the things that I have to do here in this world, but I also have my eyes on heaven. So when they talk about the world, it's really like the status quo, okay? Whatever, society, what society says. There's terms out there now called trending. Like this video is trending right now. So, this is what everybody's watching, and I need to be just like everybody else, so I better watch this video and be into this thing. That's the love of this world and wanting to fit in. It also could be thought of as the world being, these are all things that I can touch, that I'm in control of. I only believe in fact and what I can see here, that there's basically a removal of God, okay? That there's nothing, I don't need any help from anyone. There's nothing spiritual here. Everything is of this world. And It's kind of scary, actually, because it's really like a secular. It's everything secular. You remove God from it, and whatever the best things of what this world, planet Earth, this life here that we're living here has to offer. That's basically what it's talking about. Nothing to do with the afterlife or heaven or God at all. That's basically what they mean when they talk about this world. But what's kind of scary is even non-believers understand how messed up this world is right now, and why we would want to be like this world.